my computer. Okay, we got her going. We got her done. And we can see the transcripts, which is perfect. And okay, I gotta get Kleenex. We have 2 minutes. So I'm going to just go first real quickly about a little something that I wanted to talk about, Lisa, and then after that. And then if we have time, we want people to do questions, for you to ask,
Yep.
some different things of
Perfect.
how you've done things. And all the grackles are here. Do you guys know what grackles are? They're birds and they invade your feeders and they spill it everywhere. And they're crazy. So they only last a week.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get my Kleenex.
I grabbed my Kleenex box too.
Oh, we're gonna cry, aren't we? Okay. So I'm gonna go on speaker view. There's Kelly. And I'm gonna go on speaker view, my friend. Then if everyone could mute, I would really highly appreciate that. Debbie, could I make you a
Moderator.
thank you. So
Yeah.
that you can mute people for me?
Okay.
Okay, great. I just have to do that. It keeps jumping. Funny. Make co-host, okay. So if everyone could mute, that would be awesome. And then there's Diane. We have Sandy. Hi, Sandy. If everyone could mute, I would love it. Thank you very much. We're going to be on speaker view, and if you don't mute, then we see your face and not our speaker. So let me just look here. I'm going to go ahead and mute.
Everybody is muted.
Now they are. Yes. Okay, great. So hello, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, so we're going to get going. Sorry. Excited to be here. I think if we do this next time, I don't think we're going to skip weeks. I think our momentum got a little wonky, excuse me, because we didn't continue week to week. I've never done it this way, and I just don't think I would do it again because our participation is good, but it's not like it was in the past. So I think it confuses people, and I think we get off of momentum. So let's rethink that for next time. Okay, so my name is Gina Legalbo, if you don't know me, and I am here to for you guys to listen and talk to our Lisa Taylor. But before that, Tom and I were talking, and I said, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about today. It's just kind of one of those days for me. And then we started talking about planting and stuff because I'm a huge gardener along with my husband. And so we're going to talk about planting a garden. So last year ago, I became sick and I was not doing anything. I couldn't even go outside for a long time, for many, many, many months. And my husband said, well, let's do the zinnia garden that we did last year. And I'm like, I'm not up for anything. I'm not doing it. No, I was all crabby and wham. So he secretly went and took the rocks and made them a beautiful heart. Uh-oh, I might cry. And he arranged the rocks into a heart. And then he ended up planting the zinnia garden. Now, when you plant a garden, if we could have Tiffany muted, that'd be great.
There's 3 that need to be muted.
Okay.
I'm not sure how
anyway.
to mute people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet. If you just go right by their name, can you see the participants? If you click on the participants, they'll come up. I'm sorry. And then can you see that on my screen right now? Sometimes you guys can see stuff, sometimes you can't. No, you can't. Okay, interesting. I can watch for it too.
I found it.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so I don't know how many of you plant, but I want you to look at, I love analogies and I love comparing our business to different things. And I want you to think of it as a garden, your business. And whatever you do, you're going to do with intention. And building a garden is very intentional. Okay. I think about Diane and Gary. I give them seeds all the time, and I have hollyhock envy because they planted these hollyhock seeds that I gave them. And oh my gosh, the hollyhocks that they have. And I don't have the area like they do in full sun. The reason I'm talking about this is because we have to be intentional for what we do. To build a garden, you're not just going to like throw it in and just see what happens. And I feel sometimes that's how some of you do your business. You just fling it out and see what happens, like on Facebook. And no, it's intentional talking to people, intentionally calling them, following up, asking them if they'd like to do what you do and inspire them to join you. A garden, you start out with, like my husband Tom did for me. It was just the sweetest thing in the whole world. And you guys, if you ever planted a zinnia garden, it's the easiest thing in the world, but you have to be intentional. So this is what you do. You prepare the soil, okay? And we actually did this in a burn pile. And I told him, I'm done with the burn pile. It looks horrible. So we planted a zinnia garden. And so we got all kinds of good soil and we put in there, and then we put in some, it's a feed that you put in, and it's actually shells. It's really kind of cool. And it really enriches the soil. Anyway, you do that. And then I poked a hole, and Tom went with a broomstick. We started at the top. We made a spiral, and I poked a hole and he threw some seeds in. We watered it. You have to water it until they get about yay high, and then nature takes it over. So it's like your business. You prepare the soil. So you're preparing someone, talking to someone about joining or hosting a show or whatever you want to compare that to. And then you get that soil going, and then you plant your seeds, and that's planting your seeds, talking to people about joining, hosting, the product, samples. You're constantly planting seeds. And if you don't, you won't grow a garden. So then with this garden, you keep watering it. And think about that as a person that you're talking to about the business. You're just watering her. You're sprinkling some fertilizer on her. You're then going back and watering. Okay. And you're doing it intentionally, not nagging someone, not, like going crazy and talking to them and telling them everything in the world, intentionally giving them the information. And then you have to actually clip them, because the more you clip, the more they will grow. You prune them, and that's the same thing with your business. And then, so let's say she started and now you're getting her going. Now you're watering and helping her this way. This is the way you build a team in a garden. Okay. And I love the comparison. So if you're not fertilizing, if you haven't really gotten your soil ready, if you're not planting seeds and watering and fertilizing, you're not going to see the growth of your garden. So it's really literally that simple. It is that simple. And it's making a list, and who are you going to call this week? Who are you going to call today? Who are you going to call tomorrow? So I hope you like that. And I hope that's kind of opened up your eyes to, spring and what it really spring does for us. It's new life, new beginnings, new everything. Okay. So I want you to really think about that, pray on that, and start really building your garden. Right, Lisa? Lisa Taylor.
Yes, yes, yes. That is so true. And I love that. The correlation that I have to my own life is that's exactly what I did in my business. But I have exciting news that's hot off the press, that I am buying a house, and there's perennial gardens all over the property. So
Wow.
I'm just so excited about that, because I'm just going to get to plant seeds and prune and fertilize and watch and enjoy the beauty of that little bit of consistent effort in the gardens.
So do you know, like, have you seen pictures of what's up and what's coming up?
I have seen a few pictures, but I don't know all. So
Ooh, I want to
lots.
see the pictures. I'll tell you what's in there. Oh my
Uh,
God, I want to come up and identify with you. Oh my God, that's
oh,
so
please
fun.
do.
That'd
Please
be really
do.
a fun road trip. Okay, so Lisa Taylor, how long have you been in LeBry?
So I have been in LeBry. I joined LeBry in August of 2011. And I basically joined because my neighbor invited me to her party. I was struggled with adult acne and I was looking for a fix to my issue. And I had never heard of Labrie. I mean, that's what I thought it was, you know? So I went and we were living on one income. I was homeschooling our 4 kids at the time. And so I knew that I would probably it wouldn't go well if I bought what I wanted to buy. And so I didn't buy a single thing at that party. I booked a party because I saw that my hosts could benefit from the booking rewards of that $75 dollars. So I did that. And then I secretly on the side asked the consultant if there was any samples because I wanted to be able to continue using the products before my party. The other piece of that little story is that we were living on one income and my husband at the time had asked me if I would get a job, a part-time job. And I was kind of mad about that whole thing and had a frank conversation with God out hanging the clothes on the clothesline. And I'm like, I can't believe he wants me to get a job. Like I have a job. It's a full-time job taking care of these kids and homeschooling and I was literally having a little hissy fit about it. And then it like divine download. Maybe this could be your job. Maybe it would satisfy having a job if I signed up. I was still scared because I didn't want to be a pushy sales lady. I had an experience with another direct sales skincare consultant, and her approach like totally scared me to do anything in the direct sales world because I never wanted to be that because I hated how I felt on the other end. But this was like, okay, maybe I should do it because it would get him off my back. And so I said yes right before I had my party. And it's the best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. Some of the things that I think, LeBry, I didn't realize that I needed LeBry more than LeBry needed me. And that's some of the beauty of retrospect and reflection, looking back and connecting the dots. I really needed a break from my kids. That was, I would have the supper in the crock pot and I'd be like, honey, I'm going to work. And as I would almost skip out the door, like, yay, I get a break, LeBry was something that I could call my own. It didn't have any connection to my kids, to my husband, to homeschool, to anything. It was just mine. And I loved it. It literally fed a piece of me that was, I didn't know that I was like dying on, like I was a teacher prior to LeBry, and I was kind of in this homeschool tunnel, not really growing, surviving, but not really growing personally. So LeBry gave me a safe place to try new things. I felt like even if you made a mistake or things show didn't go well, it wasn't like you were going to get kicked out or reprimanded or, called under the carpet. So it kind of gave me the freedom to try and be brave and try new things, because I knew that there would be always someone saying, oh, you got this. Like, here's a couple of tips on, what to do next. So it was really, I needed that. And then LeBri also was a place that reminded me that I am funny. So imagine being a homeschool mom, like nobody thinks you're funny. Nobody, nobody. So I would go and do my parties, and like I would just kind of whatever say something that I, little sleight of hand or a little thing, and they would all crack up, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I am funny. Like seriously, it was like this big aha. And then the other thing that LeBri has done for me is it's really helped me to dream. I did not dream. I did not know how to dream. Like I would say at my in-home parties, because back 13 years ago, that was all we did was in-home parties. I would say at my parties, my biggest dream before LeBri was I would wake up in the morning and my dream was, what am I going to make for supper? And if I got supper on the table, I felt like I was successful. And the next morning I would wake up and literally at my short-sightedness was only one day. It was survival, right? And so to think about what do you want to, where do you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? I had no capacity to even figure how to, what would that, no idea. And so to be in this environment where you have people that are challenging you to think about what is it that you want? What are some of your whys? And so I started, when I promoted to supervisor, I remember one of my uplines, Lori Fondry, she said, I see you're going to be an executive manager. And I was like, you're out of your mind, lady. Like that is not it. Well, I continued to find life inside my LeBri business, and I promoted to manager on December 1st of 2012, and it was a bittersweet day because that was the day I promoted to manager. It was the same day I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and the fact that they both happened on the same day was a little sign of hope, because I was like, okay, there is going to be good in this. And during my year of battling cancer, they caught it early, good prognosis. But during that year that I battled, I couldn't do shows for the most part. It was surgery. And I was so proud because I was able to continue to plant seeds and follow up with my customers. I could pick up the phone. I could, do that bit. And there wasn't a single week that went by that I didn't have some sort of a commission check. Like I got paid every single week during that year when I didn't do shows. And that is the beauty of residual income. That's seeing the fruit of you planting seeds, a month ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. It continues to grow. And so that was really an amazing thing that I couldn't have experienced if I had had a regular job. I promoted to executive manager 2.5 years after saying yes to LeBri, that big scary yes. And I earned my very first trip when I was battling cancer. And when my oncologist said I could go, I went went out in the parking lot and I went, yes! I jumped up and down, and the biggest scream came out of me because it was like he was giving me my life back. And I I went on that trip and it was incredible because it was like, wow, all of this because I planted seeds, because I served, because I consistently worked my business. So,
Lisa, can I just say something, honey?
yes,
What trip was that?
that was Jamaica in 2013.
I remember that. I remember walking down like maybe it was like to the pool. But this is so clear in my head. Every time I think of you, I think of this. And I think you were wearing a wig.
Yes, I was.
And you and I had talked, but I don't remember. Gosh, I'm like having a hard time remembering this, but I don't think you and I were really, really, really connected yet.
Yep.
And then, I mean, we talked, whatever, but I remember locking eyes with you. Oh my God, I'm like, right. Walking down that thing, and you were like under this gazebo, and like people were around you. It was like your angels were around you. And everybody in LeBrai, all these women were supporting you. It was like angelic. And you and I locked eyes, and that's kind of like where we became friends.
That
Do you
is so
remember that?
beautiful. I can kind of remember all those people around me. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and that's the thing about LeBrai. It's not just the money, it's just this sisterhood and this like, you know, you just have each other's back. It's beautiful. And the more you
It
are
really
into
is.
it, and the more you go to convention, you know, if you guys aren't signed up for convention, you got to do it now. And leadership and trips and meetings and things. It just is so much more than just. And you did say something else that I had to write down. I had to get a pen and paper quick. Is the residual. We don't talk about that enough. You know, if you could kind of give us a little bit more on that after you're done, can we talk a little bit more about residual? But yeah, so I just had to
Sure.
say that because I'll never forget seeing like locking eyes with you. Never forget it.
Well, and it was powerful for me too, because, you know, here I was with my LeBrai family and, you know, celebrating life. I remember, you know, I tried parasailing. I'm scared of heights, and I was like, I'm gonna face my fears. I may not be here next year, you know? Like, and now looking back, I'm like, we all need to live like that. We all need to live as if we have a terminal illness, because what is fear? But it's just our imagination. Like, it is not real. We make it up in our head, and faith is the opposite of fear. It's the same side. It takes the same amount of energy to believe what could happen in the fearful side as it could in the success. It's the same amount of energy. So I thought today, the last couple of days, I was thinking about what would I share, and I thought I would share some stories from my 13 years and 9 little lessons that I have learned along my LeBrai journey. So, are you ready to go on a little trip with me today? All right. So, I've had a lot of success over the last 13 years. I'm a senior executive manager. There's 10, I have 10, a total of 10 of us executive managers, not all that I've promoted out. I've promoted 3 myself. And then obviously they have grown and promoted out other leaders. But I've also had a lot of things that I've failed and mistakes I've made. But I guess I'm proud of one thing, and that is that I've really never given up, and I continue to work on myself. I just have a core value that I never want to be the same version of myself. I don't ever want to stop learning and growing and evolving into a better version of me for me. So that's we're going to talk about my 9 lessons. So my first lesson is work on you just as much as you work on your business. So I like to always have some personal development going on, whether that be listening to podcasts, reading books, committing to the LeBri trainings. Um, I I love learning, but here's the thing: if you only consume information, it's kind of like you become a fat baby. Have you ever seen a fat baby? Well, fat babies, they're cute and all, but if they just stay a fat baby and never learn how to walk, never learn how to run, how to grow, how to become a better person by taking action, they're just sitting there consuming food, they're not gonna grow, right? So we in LeBri can be fat babies. We can be fat babies where we have all this incredible information that we can take in, right? We can go to the learning center and just like live there for years, or we can do all this training, but we need to take action because that's how you're going to grow. And so taking action is so important, and knowing what how you function. We all have different personalities, we have strengths, we have weaknesses, we have pasts, all of the things. But figure out what your personality needs to stay focused on to take action. So maybe it's having a pacing partner. Maybe it's setting a deadline for yourself. Like if you had a boss, right? Because in LeBri, we are the worker bee and the boss. We are the same. We have two roles. And so sometimes I have conversations with myself and I'm the boss and I'm like, okay, Lisa, this is what we're going to get done today. Right? And then worker bee Lisa goes, all right, boss, I got it. When does this need to get done by? Right? And I'm taking myself seriously because I am my business. And if my worker bee Lisa doesn't show up, she's gonna like not go places, right? And I want to go places. I don't want to sit in the same spot as I was. So setting a deadline. I love to reward myself. I'm a carrot girl. So I the trips are big carrots, but sometimes it's like I'm gonna get up and be able to have another cup of coffee. It's little things like I'm gonna get this done and then I'm gonna reward myself by taking a walk or whatever that is. So it's kind of setting that up. Setting an alarm on your phone. Like I'm going to work my business for 30 minutes. Here I go. Boom, alarm. And do it, right? Because you don't want to be a fat baby. So that's the first lesson. Work on yourself as much as you work on your business. Second, don't prejudge people. Okay, so we've heard this a gazillion times. We're all going to judge. So judge because that's just what we do as humans, but ask them anyway. A couple of stories that came to my mind as I was thinking about this was I remember going to a LeBri party and I had it was a sister, and the older sister booked off to the younger sister, and I was really had my mind like, this younger sister, she's going to be an awesome consultant, and I was like planting all the seeds, and she just wasn't interested. But her older sister was near retirement, and she booked a party, and I was like, she's old, she's retired. I had all the judging going on, but I did her party, and so I did not even ask her. I didn't even give her the opportunity to say no. And she had a $600 party. I remember it like it was yesterday, and I was putting in all the orders and da 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 da. And the next day, she calls me and she said, Lisa, I'm actually thinking about becoming a consultant. And I felt horrible because back then you couldn't just transfer the orders, or like I I robbed her of income that could have been hers. I robbed her of an opportunity. I felt horrible. But because of that mistake, I never don't I always ask, right? I always ask because in my mind I would rather them say no and yep, but then I at least know. I didn't ask, so I didn't know what what her intention really was. The other thing that I thought of is I didn't sponsor anybody during my first, I think it was 90 days back then, but it was like your fast start in 50. And it was probably 6 months in, I was learning more about like why you want to sponsor. And I had this again, this retired sweet little girl. She was like the mousiest girl. She didn't say a peep during it. And when at checkout, she's like, I want to have a party. And I'm like, okay. And so I called her the week before. So how many people are you expecting? You know, how are things going? And she's like, well, I think I have about 14 people coming. And I was like, what? What? And in the past, I would have saw dollar signs in my mind, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make a lot of money on this show. Look at all these orders that are going to come in. But because I had been growing and learning, I said, oh my gosh, that's more people than I had at my debut show. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? And her little mousy voice, well, actually, I have. And I'm like, oh, I would have missed another opportunity, right? So learning to just ask. I mean, don't prejudge, just ask because then you know where you stand. And if she would have said, nope, then I would have, switched gears and made a lot of money on commission. But in the meantime, I knew and I helped her get off to an awesome start. So just asking and not judging, because sometimes the people that are least likely in your mind are the people that really need LeBri. And it's not always for the money, right? It can be someone that's making a lot of money in their full-time job and they need the positive support like I needed. They needed the place to laugh and feel like they're funny, right? Their job's too serious. So you never know why people may need LeBri in their life. The third lesson is stay in your lane with your blinders on. What do I mean by this? Well, I've never been to a horse race. I would like to someday. But the horse races, they always have those little blinders, right? They got those little blinders on their eyes. And so when the gun shoots, they are in their lane and they cannot see if there's a horse coming up behind them because they got the blinders. And I know for me, when I see other people that are like, maybe I'm struggling over here, not getting bookings or sponsoring or all the things. If I keep my blinders on, well, it's easy. If I don't have my blinders on, I'm going, wow, I wonder what she's doing. I wish I could be her. I need to like study her and wow. And all of a sudden I'm over here like fixated on, someone that's having success, but it's making me feel like I'm not good enough. Right. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. And we are our worst critics. We are hard on ourselves. And of course, if we haven't been doing and being the person that we think we should be, then it's really easy to go, well, I'll never be like her. I'll never be able to have success. She must have the secret, she must have kissed the Blarney Stone because I didn't, like who knows what we say in our mind. And it's not true. When we keep our blinders on, it's like, okay, I am going to serve, I'm gonna work my business. And that is, I don't know if you can hear my dogs, sorry about that. So keeping your blinders on keeps you focused. And here's the beautiful thing that I adore this about LeBri. And that is, in corporate America, you've got one CEO, you might have a couple of whatever vice presidents, then you've got a handful of managers, but in LeBri, there isn't that hierarchy. There is room for everybody at the top. Everybody on this call, everybody that's listening to this recording, you can all be executive managers. Like there isn't a limit. And I love that about LeBri. So stay in your lane, and literally just keep working your business, because here's the beautiful thing. What makes you successful is you. It's your unique personality, it's your heart, it's how you show up. Nobody wants me to be Diane Klopp, right? Like, I'm not Diane Klopp, and I'm never going to be Diane Klopp. That's just the beauty of how we're created, right? So your superpower is you. So put your blinders on, stay in your lane, and keep your eye on the prize of leadership, because it is there waiting for you. Okay, maybe my dog's calmed down a little bit. All right. Number 4, work your business from your heart, more from your heart and less from your head. So I would say that when I started my business, I really worked my business from my head, and it was like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this. And I put a lot of pressure on myself. I probably had some outside pressures on me of expectations, because we did need the extra money. And so that was probably laying there in the weeds of my mind all the time. But as I learned and continued to listen to the trainings that LeBri was offering, I really, I think, pivoted to, yeah, this isn't about me. This isn't about, like, the more I can make it about other people, success is going to just follow. And we've all heard this, we're helping people. We don't sell products, right? We share. And so really worrying about that, like when I'm worrying about, oh, how is she gonna think I'm pushy? Is this gonna come across the wrong way? Am I gonna, well, that's all about me. And when I have that mentality, I'm really not of service, right? It's when I flip the script and I make it about them, because how can our business help them? So years ago, I don't know if it was Reggie, I don't know. Someone shared the analogy of the plate of cookies. So I think this is helpful. So
It's Eileen Mickley.
Yeah, okay, Eileen, okay.
Love
All
this
right.
analogy.
Right. So if I walked into a room and you were all in the room, and I had this amazing plate of cookies, and I walked around and I offered, one to Linda, and then I went to Mary. Mary, would you like a cookie? And then I walked to Jean and Pam, and some of them said no. Maybe they were watching their weights and they were like, no, I'll pass this time. And I wasn't like, oh my gosh, no, she didn't accept my cookie, right? I mean, I was just offering a cookie. Some are going to say no, some are going to say yes, some are going to say maybe later. But then there were 4 of you over here that I never offered it to. And I left you out. So picture you being one of those 4. So in your mind, you might be thinking, wow, how rude. Didn't she even think to give me the option to have a cookie? Like, did she not think that I was good enough to have a cookie, or that I might enjoy having a cookie? That is a perfect way to envision when you have a party, whether it be online or in home. If you are leaving someone out because maybe you've prejudged them, it's the same analogy. Like how rude of you not to ask, right? To give them the opportunity to say yes or no. That's so cool. Um, and then the other story, I gotta look at my notes here. The other story is sometimes when I am operating out of my head more, I put pressure on. I'm feeling the pressure like, okay, I've got a sponsor. There's a sponsoring promotion going on right now, or I want president circle. So I've got to have my 6+2. And that's my head talking right now, right? It's my head in control. And when I stop and pause, and I'm like, okay, Lisa, like when you're striving and you're like trying to get, like, people can feel that energy. People can feel you're desperate. You want that president circle. You just need one more person to sign up. They can feel it. They can feel it. And so part of like this mindset growth is really being aware of your thoughts. Like, our thoughts determine our feelings, determine our actions, determine our results. And when I am feeling this way, it shows up in my body. It shows up, in just how I'm even approaching it. I pause, and I don't always do this, but when I do pause, um, and I stop and I'm like, okay, Lisa, what is it about my business? What aspects of my business could I do right now that would make me feel good? That would put me in a happy place. And more times than not, what I default to is customer service. When I am taking care of my customers and I'm not having a hidden agenda, like, oh, I'm going to ask her, if she added water to the moisturizer, but I really want to ask her if she's going to book a show or maybe wants to join my team, right? No, in that moment, I release all of that, because the energy of that striving and my hidden agenda, so to speak, um, puts me in my head, and my heart gets clouded and lost. So I go back and I'm like, okay, Lisa, you want to work your business today? Let's work from your heart, and let's just follow up with people and make sure that they're satisfied with the products that they're receiving, and if they want to try any samples. That's it. I don't ask them for a show, but oftentimes, because my energy has changed, the conversation just naturally lends itself to, hey, maybe we should get some friends together. Like, and it's easy, it flows instead of this striving. I gotta get. It's like, okay, let me just serve and allow it to flow as it needs to be. There's plenty of people out there. They all need and want what we have. So it just takes the pressure off, and it creates a lightness. I don't know if that you can relate to that at all, but that's really been helpful for me to release the results, take the pressure off, and take action. like just serve, just do it. And it's fun. Like I don't want to do anything if it's not fun. And if I feel like, oh my gosh, like this is way over here feeling like a job, I'm like, don't want to do it. But I can accomplish the same thing just by changing my attitude and changing the spirit of my heart in the whole thing. So that's working your business from your heart and not your head as much. Number 5 is your dreams need to be bigger than your fears. So I remember someone saying, we all get the same starter kit. We all get the same starter kit. Gina, I think you said that. But why is it that only a small percentage of consultants reach that executive manager level? We all have the same training. We all have the same, opportunity. Why is it? Well, I think the answer lies in the strength of your dream. How big is your dream? Does your dream like create this feeling of excitement, but also it's so big that you're scared to death of it really happening? It's got to have both of those components. It's got to scare you. It's like way beyond what you ever think possible. But yet, if it did happen, it would be like butterflies and rainbows all day long, right? So I ask myself these type of things. First, do I believe that these products can change someone's skin? And you might want to ask yourself that. Do I really believe? Journaling is my best friend. I am a journal monger. I love journaling, and it helps me to really, I can say, well, of course I believe. But do you really believe? And one of the journaling prompts that I absolutely have used a lot and will continue is start answering that question. Yes, I believe, the products changed my skin. I had acne, da 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 da. I've seen customers. And then pause and say, but if I'm honest, and then allow your pen to take over. Because if we actually are honest with ourselves, there's probably something that's holding us back, right? Maybe we had an experience with another skincare consultant that was pushy, and you're going to dig down into that whole aspect of what it is that is causing you not to want to share the products. The second question is, do I believe that LeBry's opportunity can change someone's life? So maybe you're only making $100 a month. I was there. There was a time when I would say, yeah, I don't know. Like, I talk about the trips, but I haven't earned one yet. Is that really, well, dig deep. What has LeBry done for you that you can authentically feel good about saying? But don't feel like you can't share other people's success, because I shared Gina's success and I still share Gina's success because I think people need to see the potential of all that LeBry has done financially, confidence wise, worthiness wise, community, fun, all of the things. So really digging deep into your dreams and realizing that, if you have something that's holding you back, like figure it out, because as soon as you identify a thought, and it's usually a fear, right? You have a fear that if you say that LeBri has the potential to, to pay for your car payment or whatever, and then you're like, well, like it's not paying for my car payment, right? You have that disconnect. Um, but it's a fear that you have somewhere. Maybe you grew up in a family that you had someone telling you you're never going to make anything out of yourself, you're not going to be successful. um, we all have those skeletons in the closet, and so once we identify them, then we can objectively look at them. So is it true that I will never be successful in LeBri? No, that's not true. That's not true. And then it's the inner work of, okay, so what do I want to believe? What do I want to believe about myself? And really, really working on that through mantras, meditation, um, visualizing. I'm a big visualizer where I can like visualize my success, visualize my calendar being full, visualize, standing in front of a table full of ladies all around and envisioning a successful outcome, right? Envisioning sponsoring one and having 2 bookings. You have to go into it putting that vision of success. It's just not going to happen. It's kind of like the planting the seeds, right? You have to plant the seeds. You just can't go out and, wish upon that little piece of dirt that there's going to be some beautiful zinnias popping up. It doesn't happen, right? So visualizing your success is really one way that you can tap into who do you want to be when you show up as that LeBri consultant. Who do you want to be? Number 6 is, this is one of my favorites, and honestly, it's linked very much to number 5, and it's something that I'm really learning personally myself, and that is you are worthy of the things that you desire. So I'm going to say this again to you because I really want you to hear this. You are worthy. You're worthy of success. You're worthy of travel. You're worthy of having a job that you love and spurs on joy in your heart. You're worthy of time flexibility. You're worthy of having an abundance of income so that you can pass it on and inspire others to do the same. You're worthy. I'm reading a book by Jamie Kern Lima, and it's called Worthy. And it's my book of the year. I can read books on Audible faster than I can here. I would say like one of my my beliefs about my past self is that I'm a slow reader and that I'm not a good reader. And so I'm taking one book, Worthy, and I'm going to study it. I'm going to just read it all year long. And one of the takeaways I'm grappling with right now is that self-confidence is not the same as self-worth. Okay, so let's talk about Lisa. So when I joined LeBri, if you've been watching me, or maybe you don't know anything about me, it doesn't matter. I would say that I was a pretty self-confident person, and I wasn't afraid to take action if I had a supportive little community that was there rooting me on. But self-confidence comes from outside of yourself. So how I looked self-confident, I walked the stage at convention. I gained self-confidence. I, hit these awards. I earned the trips. That all helped me to gain self-confidence. But self-confidence is not self-worth. And self-worth is an inside job. And this is the really, like, I'm so grateful for LeBri, because it has helped me to see and believe and increase my belief that I am worth it. I think as women, we are constantly thinking about other people. That's why LeBri, we can be so successful, right? Because we're wanting to make everybody happy, from their skin to their checkbook to everything. But at the end of the day, are we taking care of ourselves, right? Are we seeing ourselves as worthy of being cared for, of having the dreams that we want? I remember my very first LeBri trip to Jamaica, battling cancer, wearing the wig. I had earned a $50 spa voucher at the hotel. So remember, I'm a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling 4 kids, and never had a manicure in my life, because you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't spend money on yourself. I mean, if you buy a shirt at Walmart, you're feeling guilty about it. Like, seriously, seriously. So I knew that I couldn't spend a lot more than the $50 and get a massage, because that would have been out of the budget, right? I mean, we had this free vacation, but we're not going to go in debt because Lisa is going to have a massage. So I thought, I'm going to do a manicure, because that's just a little bit more than this $50 voucher. So I can already see the evolution that I've taken because of LeBri. But back then, $50 was a big deal, and I got my manicure. And I was so proud. I had beautiful nails, and I saw Linda Kaminsky that evening, like in the foyer area. And I went up to her and I said, thank you, Linda. Like, I had my very first manicure. Here are my nails. And I said, thank you so much for that $50. I was able to, do this for myself. And she stopped me and she looked me right in the eye and she said, Lisa, you don't need to thank me. You need to thank yourself. You are the one who worked hard to earn that $50. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was just like, and then she said this, and I'll never forget it. She said, Lisa, you deserve it. And I know in that moment, I didn't believe her. I know for a fact I did not believe her, because my past belief had me thinking that that was selfish, that was prideful, like, drawing attention to myself, all the things, like, you don't deserve things. You can be grateful, but this whole idea of deserving it was really hard for me to accept that as truth. And I have grown so much and believe that we do deserve these things. And, if that's a struggle that you have because of how you were raised, all the things, I want to give you permission to try on a new belief. Just try it on and see if it doesn't feel good, right? When you work hard, you should be proud of yourself. So, worthiness, your dreams matter. And I want to also challenge you on this point is your dreams need to be your own dreams. Okay. So Gina's amazing at the tree and having, family dreams, personal dreams, financial dreams. You got your whole spectrum there. But I want you to really hone in on your personal dreams. I'm going to be vulnerable here because this is my growth area. Is I have just in the last 2 years really discovered, had an awareness that I was in a emotionally covert, very covert, emotionally abusive marriage. And my dream was always, I wrote it every time LeBri asked, what is your big why? I would write, my big dream is to retire my husband and be able to pay for health insurance. And I felt good about that at the time because that was my people pleaser, right? That would make him happy. And at one point during this awakening that I've had over the last 2 years, a mentor of mine said, that's not your dream. That's his dream. And I'm like, oh, you're right. You're right. That was his dream that was imposed upon me, that I hiked up my bootstraps and decided that in order to please him, to make it work, yes, that's my dream. But internally, did that really motivate? What kind of motivation was that? That was a pressure. That was a pressure, a negative pressure that I put on myself, that I accepted. I'm taking ownership of what happened, but I wasn't in awareness, to be honest. So I share that with you because your dreams should light you on fire. And your dreams don't have to be, all your dreams don't have to be under this umbrella of my spouse's dreams, or, I have to have the same dreams as my spouse or my significant other. Like, allow yourself to have dreams that are your own. That's, it becomes, instead of becoming a should goal, and we know we don't want to should on ourselves, right? We've heard that before. We don't want to have should dreams. Like, I should have a dream to get out of debt. Is that really a dream that motivates you? Gross, right? I mean, maybe a should dream to retire your husband. No, no. A dream to pay for your kids' college. No. Okay. Are you feeling the difference? Okay. Those are like shoulds. Those are like your, oh, well, if I should have a dream, well, if I'm going to look good in the dream world, I should want this and I should, however that's getting. I want you to throw those out for right now. And I want to ask yourself, what is it that you want? What do you want? And don't just be satisfied with the first thing that comes to your mind. I've always wanted a lake house, and I sat probably 3 years ago, and I was just starting to learn how to meditate. And so I was getting quiet, asking God, what do I want? God, what do I want? And he put in my mind a lake house. And Gina, you're like a inspiration for me. And I sat there and I was like, okay, yeah, I've always had that. That's been on my dream board, since the beginning. But it's been like this pie in the sky, like this probably won't ever happen. My belief around it was probably pretty weak. And as I sat, I kept going, okay, yep. But then I sat with it longer, and it was like I allowed these divine downloads, as I like to call them. And all of a sudden, it was like the thought, no, Lisa, it's not a lake house, it's a beach house. It's on the ocean. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. Like, talk about, so exciting, so thrilling, and so dang scary. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, big. And when that divine download hit, I was like, okay, then my head kicked in and my head went, Lisa, that's totally selfish. Like, who needs, who needs a big old house on the water, and it's going to cost $1 million+ like, that's never going to happen. My head was just chattering like crazy. And then I paused and another divine download hit, and it God said in my soul, I didn't hear his voice, nothing crazy, it's a retreat center. And the minute that hit my soul, I was like, of course it is. It's not a house just for me to vacation in and to blah, blah, blah. Yes, that will happen, but I want to serve. I want to have a place where women can gather. And I've been noodling like, okay, so is it like, who's going to be in my retreat center? Is it going to be like business women that want to learn about, mindset things? Is it LeBrai team? And none of that really clicked, but I've been meditating and just marinating on it. And then I went through this whole awareness around my marriage. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is a safe place for women that have trauma, that have gone through things. And this is why I'm having a house on the ocean, because it's water is so powerful. So my house that I just bought, that I'm closing in April, is my baby step, because when I walked in, it immediately gave me a feeling of being at a retreat center. And I can't wait for you guys to come. Gina, come help me identify all my flowers. I got a guest room for you. So I sidetracked a little bit, but I share that with you because it was only when I spent time, quiet meditation, and kept asking, what do I want? What do I want? That those ideas began to flow. We are in a very loud, crazy world, and you're never going to hear your big bodacious dreams in that craziness. You have to get quiet. All right, I got three more. Are we okay if I keep going? Okay. All right, so and my favorite mantra to tie up my worthiness point, my favorite mantra that I have on my mirror is this: I am worthy of the things I desire. And I just love that. I just love that. And I journal about those things. And there's just a freedom that I have to dream now that just never was in my past. So, number 7, rejection is really God's protection. Okay, so let that soak in. Rejection is really God's protection. So we all fear rejection, don't we? I mean, no one wants to hear that. No one wants to feel that. And so I have a couple of stories. First is, I love switching this. So we get to choose our thoughts. Every single moment of the day, we have the choice of what we're going to think. So why not think and really change our thoughts in the way that they're going to serve us? So I I have a story from way back in my years, and it's an in-home party again. And I was really on a roll. I was getting bookings. I wanted 3 bookings at this show. And so I said, if there's 3 bookings, you're all going to get the facial mask. Right? So I was a little vivacious, and I wasn't making big bucks back then either. so I said that, and I got 3 bookings. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. This is awesome. So I did the first 2, the third one happened. And the third one, I'm calling her. She's got a couple people coming, not too many. And I'm like, okay, ask him to invite a friend. Da, 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 da. So I show up. It is only her and her friend. And I'm already disappointed. Well, so and so couldn't make it, blah, 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 blah. And I had told them, I didn't say at that party, when your party qualifies, you'll get the mask. I hadn't learned that trick yet. And so her and her friend, the friend said, oh, I've got to go home and check, check what products I might need. That's a that's a cop out. The girl never ordered, right? The host never ordered. There was no orders for that show. There was no bookings for that show. And I didn't even make enough money to pay for my gas to get there and back, right? Like I lost money. And because I'm a woman of integrity, I had to leave that blankety blank mask with her. It killed me, Gina. So right, exactly. So I felt on the drive home, I was like, okay, Lisa, that was a bomb. You lost money. You totally went in the hole. This was the worst show on the planet in the face of my history. So I could have taken thoughts that went, Lisa, you're really not good at this. Like this might not be your thing. Maybe you should try something else because like clearly this was not a success. I could have taken that route. I could have taken the route of, oh my gosh, like I'm such a loser. Like why did I even do the mask? I should have not done the mask, and like I should have done better hostess coaching. Like I could have gone all of that. And yes, to evaluate, did I learn from that? Did I never ever since then have I ever said, you can have the mask just because you book a party? No. No, I learned my lesson very well that day. But I spun it even on the drive home because I knew my husband was going to ask me how my show went. I spun it and I started to think, and this, judge me if you want, I don't care. I said to myself, you know what? These people, I don't want anything to do with them. Like, I am so grateful that I didn't get a booking on this show because I'm done with them. Like, I don't want to meet more people like them. I'm done. And I'm so thankful that I didn't get any bookings. So it like totally excited me and made me relieved because like there's plenty of people out there. I can find people that are going to, do a better job of getting people to the table and all the things. So I counted it as a gift that little train of people just got cut off. And I was like, all right, good job. Fabulous. So flipping the script and seeing rejection as a gift is really our choice. We can get down and depressed and beat ourselves up all day long, but is that the thoughts you want to think? And is that the thoughts that are going to serve you and get you to the next level? Number 8. Lighten up and live. Well, that's one of the things, this whole idea of just having fun, making connections with people, loving on people, and having fun are probably I mean, they are my core values. Connections and fun are two of my core values, along with growth. So I tried to figure out what were the things that I was afraid of. And then I would switch my inner thinking and beliefs. And I like to, call me crazy, I like to play games with myself in my mind. Don't tell anybody. But I would be scared of sponsoring, right? Scared of asking, like, oh my gosh, like, oh, that would be the big scary. Like, I don't want to ask everybody at the party. I want to ask maybe the two girls that I felt like we connected the most, but not Miss Susie over here that didn't hardly say anything, right? I didn't want to ask everyone because I was afraid. So I decided to make a game in my mind, and it helped me to lighten up my thinking. And my game was, and still is to this day, a scavenger hunt. I play a scavenger hunt every time in my mind. They don't know this, but I play this little game in my mind where I'm on a scavenger hunt. So, ever been on a scavenger hunt, right? It's super fun, right? You're excited. You're like, oh my gosh, is the egg over here behind this bush? And you run over there and you're like, okay. And you open the egg and there's a prize in it. But you never know where the eggs are and you never know what's going to be in it. So I walk into an in-home party, or if I have an online party, same thing. Anytime I have a group of people, I go on a scavenger hunt. And my goal is to find the lucky golden egg. That's my consultant lead. And so, how will you know who is? Because here's the facts. In a room of 6 to 10 people, there are at least one person that is thinking about joining you. It's fact. Right? And probably by the time you're at 10, there's at least 2. So that's the scavenger hunt, right? Where is my girl? Where's my girl? So if I don't ask everybody, it's like I've left the egg underneath the bush and it might have the golden egg in it, right? It might have the prize in it. So by playing this game in my head, as crazy as it seems, it totally takes the pressure off. I just need to find out who it is. I don't know who it is. And so it creates an excitement, it creates a lightness, and I ask everybody. So that's one of my tips. My last and ninth lesson that I've learned in my 13 years as a LeBri consultant is consistently work your business every day, even if you're just doing one thing a day. And find out what motivates you. So when I'm not feeling motivated to work my business, I know me personally, I need rewards. Like I need to reward myself. And I'm talking little things, right? I don't need to get a manicure, but it could be, work my business 5 days in a row and do this. But if it's just, I'm going to work my business 30 minutes, set the timer, boom. And then I get to watch my favorite Netflix show, whatever it is, right? Whatever motivates you, you got to figure that out and then tie it and connect it to your activity. And your activity cannot be creating a list of people that you're going to connect with. That doesn't count. That is not an income producing activity, right? We're talking action, people, contacts, people connections. That's your 30 minutes. If it takes you 10 minutes to put your list together, so be it. But that's really the key. Gina.
Lisa, that reminds me of Eileen Meckley. You guys, there's a book, and I actually think it's out of print and you can only get it used, but it's Eileen Meckley. What's her name? I have it. I'll post it in our group. I can't think of it right now. But she would do the same thing with children. Like if you have a lot of kids and you're working around kids, and so what you would do is say, you guys, I'm gonna work I'm gonna work the phones or whatever you're doing, for a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever. And you have a certain closet that you bring down toys for them during your little work time, or a special movie or whatever it is. It's that same thing you do for yourself, and they get an award, a reward for being quiet and having a snack. And, it's just kind of their special playtime or relax time when you're doing your work. It's that same concept, which I love, because there's a reward at the end of the rainbow.
Exactly. Exactly, for sure. Yeah, I love that. Love that.
Do you have this like bullet pointed? Could you put that on to our page?
Sure.
I think that would be really wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we need to kind of wrap up, but I could listen to you all day. I mean, I love these pointers. You really put a cool spin. I love your spin on the dream. I think I have to update my thinking of dreaming for people, and that it really should be for you.
Yes.
Your whys are your roots, but really that main root system should be you. That maybe the trunk, we put the trunk, that's your main why is something for you. I love that. Your main dream. So does anyone have any questions? And we're fine if we take a little bit more time. There's Maria. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really needed to hear your 9 lessons. Congratulations on your new home. You deserve it all. Thank you, Lisa. Needed this motivation today. I love your energy, Lisa. Thank you for all your great advice. Renee said that. Thank you so much. You are such a heart person. I want to read something that I read, and I don't think I know this gal, but actually I almost started to cry when I read this. Where was it? I'm sorry. I have to find it. She said, this is Kimberly Jamel. She said, I almost died in January of this year. The doctors told me, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Told my family I was probably not going to make it, but I pulled through. I was in 3 different businesses. I quit 2 of them to concentrate solely on the bride. I wanted to help people instead of selling feverishly or frivolous things. Now I just need to continue planting seeds. Kim, you are awesome. Kimberly, thank you for sharing that. Lisa, you've inspired many people here. I mean, the comments are just endless. The book is Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima. Thank you, Diane. Mary Balashre says, that book is in my cart. I love Michelle Ward. Oh, she just turned her camera off. She's exercising. Good for you while you're working and watching and getting inspired. So does anyone have any questions at all for our Lisa Taylor? And Lisa, I'm coming up there. I'm coming up there when things start popping, like in May.
I would love it.
And we can look at what's coming up. And maybe I'll bring you some stuff. So who else? Anyone have questions for her? Come on, we're open here for the next 5 minutes.
Lisa, where's the retreat?
Well, the retreat right now is going to be my home. Like,
where did you buy a home?
In Stevens Point.
Okay.
Yep. So it's not on the water yet, but this is the baby steps.
Yeah.
It's the baby steps. And yeah, I just envision people just relaxing and gathering and connecting and enjoying the gardens. And yeah, we all need that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
And Kimberly says, thank you, Gina. I'm blessed beyond belief, and I know the bride is where I'm meant to be. Yes, you are, Kimberly. You go, girl. Renee says Stevens Point is her alma mater. So we're going to have to go up there. So
that's right.
I would love for you to put these 7 or 9 steps down. I think that would be really neat for people to print that out and because their 9 things might be totally different, but
Yep.
or they can really look at what you have done and your lessons and learn from them.
Awesome.
This is women, and there's some men in our business, we know that, but this is really women helping women. This isn't women scratching each other's eyes out.
Mhm.
I've had a few of that happen in LeBrai, but it's so rare. It's such a rare thing, because women can be really crappy to each other, and we never
Mhm.
have that. I'm not going to say never, but it's so rare. And like Lisa was saying, keep your blinders on. Don't let negative Nancy's get to you.
Yep.
It just don't. It's and I shouldn't say Nancy. I'm sorry if your name is Nancy. I apologize. I should just say negative
N-
people.
Nellie.
Thank you. Well, I do have a friend named Nellie, so
Oh,
but it's respecting each other and loving each other and not being jealous or any of that, because jealousy really will just ruin everything for us. And just making sure that we are helping each other instead of hurting each other, because women can do that. Like in offices and restaurants where you've worked and people are mean, and it's just so unnecessary. We got to grow up and stay grown up and just love each other as much as we can. And you're very good at that, Lisa. And I thank you. You are such an inspiration. And
thank
I've
you.
seen you grow like, wow, you are like if you were a tree, you were like a little sprout when you started, as I was. And you are just, I don't know what your favorite tree is, but whatever that favorite tree is, you are just blossomed.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
mean that. And I really love
Appreciate that.
you. Thank you everybody for being on. And Lisa, I can't tell you enough. We never go this long, but I know everyone stayed on because this was really, really, really good. You are just full of love. Love you, honey.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Love you
Okay.
too.
You guys have a great week. And and I'm sorry if were the dates wonky. Someone said the date was wonky on our thing, and I'll have to take a look at that. We'll have to rethink about this training and continuing it. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Have a great, great rest of your weekend. Love ya. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.